Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal astrology forecast for the week of April 18th to the 24th of 2022. All right, so this week we have a bit of a quiet week with the aspects. The aspects are concentrated very early Monday and then very late on Sunday for the week. So there is this certain gap here with the aspects, but there are certainly some important sign changes as well. But at the beginning of the week on Monday, we still have this Sun square Pluto we may have felt on Sunday. It's a bit of a deep, intense energy that can be channeled into things that are about self-empowerment, and perhaps diving deep with things constructively is fantastic around Monday. Also on Monday, Mercury will be still over Uranus, so a bit of an innovative mind, future-oriented mind is fantastic around that day. And then once we do get to the weekend, that's when we start to see the sign changes. The Sun is going to go out of watery Pisces and go more into active and assertive Aries on Friday. This is followed by Venus then entering Pisces, so we'll start to value and connect in our relationships in that more watery way. Pisces is about compassion, receptivity, unconditionality, more of that kind of connection. And then Mercury also shifting into Taurus around Saturday, so our mind's going into more of a grounding energy. And this is confirmed by Sunday when Mercury squares Saturn. On that day, we could have a bit of a productive mind, could be great to channel that, but a bit of, again, this more grounded mind, so anything that's around achievement, accomplishment, taking time with things when it involves our mental and communicative energies of life is fantastic around that Sunday time period. But all in all, we are coming off of a full moon this week. We had a full moon last Friday. So we are in the disseminating phase of the cycle, which is a very good week to implement any shifts that happened later last week. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, April 18th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel. This is very different from mainstream astrology, which unfortunately does not use the visible sky. A good example of this is that Libra is a very small constellation in the sky, as you can see here. But in mainstream astrology, they stretch it out to make it an even 30 degrees. So all the signs are even 30 degrees in mainstream astrology. And so the signs will change compared to where they are in the visible sky and on this channel. So if you are new to this channel, definitely check out the link down below for more information. All right, so let's go ahead and just take a quick peek here at what I was talking about with a bit of a gap here with a lot of the major aspects. A lot of concentration of the aspects here coming into Monday. Out of Sunday, which I spoke a little bit about in the last weekly video. And then as you can see here around the Sunday of this week time period. So a bit of a gap there, but definitely some sign changes. A lot of the sign changes are this later part of the week, Friday, Saturday, which is usually a shift of perspective in life, shift of events, shift of things, just generally energetically speaking. So that is certainly going on this later part. But all in all, this week is great for implementing. We are in the disseminating phase of the lunar cycle. Last Friday we had the full moon of the cycle, so it is still heightened energy coming into the week, but again, applying it, right? Implementing any shifts that happened or any insights that were gained in our lives since the later part of last week. And then once we get to the later part of this week, we'll be in the third quarter, which will be more of an action-oriented phase of the cycle about also implementing, but here where we might be challenging ourselves to do so. All right, so let's go ahead and break it down each day of the week. But before we do, let's do a quick recap. Since we do have a lot of sign changes taking place, let's recap where all the fast movers are coming into this week. So we still have the Sun finishing Pisces, again, up until about Friday. And so the theme still definitely is on what does lead to more peace in our life and perhaps a bit of an inner connection to our soul, to our deeper emotions, all to hopefully have more acceptance, more of a willingness to go with the flow, right? A bit more of that receptivity. So that is definitely still fantastic. And I would say for the whole week at large, since once the Sun leaves, Venus will be entering Pisces. So it does continue that theme, but definitely stronger now with the Sun here. And Mercury is in Aries, so we are getting some of that fire energy, but this deals more with our communications, and just more with how we're thinking about things. So we're definitely independent-minded, collectively speaking, maybe a little more assertive or direct with our communications, relatively speaking. And so that's definitely still going on here this week as well. And Venus and Mars still in Aquarius, so we're valuing and desiring more of that visionary, unorthodox, eccentric, weird energy of Aquarius. It is good to allow out a bit of that individual self-expression. We could be enjoying that with Venus, connecting in this way in our relationships, as well as taking action in this way with Mars here as well. All right, so that is the placements coming into the week. Let's go ahead and talk about Monday here. A lot of concentration of energy. So first of all, the moon will be in Libra here around Monday. So Monday, likely the theme will be balance. And so anything that is about seeing both sides of the coin and walking a bit of a middle path will likely be the theme, and it's good to develop. Maybe some themes around relationships in the context of what is fair, what is right, what is just. Also good to connect to on that level and strive towards that balance. But a bit of a deep, intense day. Collectively, the sun will be squaring up to Pluto. Nothing major. We have something like a Sun-Pluto like this, about 4 times a year, 2 times a year for the squares. But it is a good time to be aware of that deeper world. And squares are about taking action, or at least challenging ourselves to integrate energy. So it might be difficult to, expose that inner or deeper world, but it can be very empowering to do so. So this could be externally, a great time for research, uncovering deep things. It could be personally, such as through healing or inner transformation or self-empowerment. It could be through relationships, of course, which is dealing with others in a way that is deep and authentic as we can, and really excavating, what really matters at the end of the day for us, and expressing ourselves in that way. So this is certainly the theme there, and anything we can do to challenge ourselves to integrate that deeper energy of life in a way that's conscious, constructive, is a great way of working with this square here. All right, and along with this, which will likely be mostly dissipating, but Mercury will still be over Uranus in Aries. So we will certainly have a bit of that innovative mind around Monday, and channeling that into anything can be fantastic. So learning new things, thinking outside the box, innovating, and perhaps in those communications, maybe communicating in a way that's a bit outside the norm, different than what we're used to, or doing some things in our day-to-day life that is just a bit different. So mixing things up a bit mentally, and maybe with the routine and communicatively, can be fantastic there, with what likely is a bit of a new beginning, with, again, allowing out a little bit of that, what I would say Aquarian energy, so that individual self-expression, that unorthodoxy, that challenging the status quo, right? A bit of that innovative energy there. All right, so as you can see, a lot of concentration on Monday, but pretty straightforward with those 3 things. The moon in Libra, themes around balance, Sun square Pluto, deeper energy to excavate, and Mercury over Uranus, bit of that innovative mind. So once we start to shift into Tuesday, we'll be continuing with a bit of that deeper energy, because the moon will be going into Scorpio, and then of course followed by Ophiuchus on Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, good for still that deeper excavation. It may or may not be as difficult collectively to do so. It depends on our personal charts. For some of us, maybe the deeper energy will be on Monday, depending on how Pluto's placed in our charts. But our moon sensitivity will be sensitive to our inner world, our emotions will be sensitive to that deeper energy Tuesday and Wednesday. And so these 2 days, again, same thing, good to excavate, but here a little bit more probably inwardly, right? The moon is a little bit more introverted. It's our introverted side. It's our inner world, deals with our emotions, the past, even personal life matters. So anything around that we can connect with on a deeper level, be aware of, be attuned to on a deeper level, and maybe some themes around, again, personal transformation, or particularly healing on Wednesday when the moon's in Ophiuchus, can be a great way of working with this cycle of this part of the cycle with the moon. All right, and then once we start to get into the Thursday time, we do have that post-transformation energy, that post-deeper energy, where the moon does pass over the galactic center late Wednesday for most of us, and then going into Thursday, more of that freedom of Sagittarius. So Thursday and also Friday here will be the theme around expanding our horizons. And so a bit of that free-spiritedness. This could be literally through a bit of adventure, a bit of a willingness to, open our perspective to new experiences, but also mentally through expanding our minds, through philosophy, through abstract things like astrology. Things like this can be great to expand with. So that'll be up and through Friday. And then Friday is when the sun starts to get closer to Aries. And so we have now these sign changes. And the sign changes are very much about shifts of perspective and, again, shifts of energy. So in this case, it's going to add to that fiery energy. We'll slowly likely notice as we get into next week that there's more themes around taking more of that initiative with Aries, more focused on life in this way, viewing life through the lens of how we can take initiative with things and perhaps action or assert ourselves or do things independently. This will be the good theme to develop this stuff these coming weeks, and we'll likely notice that shift around the weekend. And then once we get to Saturday here, we then have Venus starting to get closer to Pisces. And so with this shift, again, it's in a sense continuing that watery inner energy of Pisces, but not as strongly as when the sun was there, and now dealing more with what we're valuing, enjoying, and connecting with, especially with Venus in those one-on-one relationships. So connecting and enjoying a bit of that watery energy, so compassion, receptivity, unconditionality, maybe a bit of space, maybe a bit of alone time, maybe a bit of creative energy, inner stuff, spiritual stuff as well. So great to do that. We'll notice that over the next few weeks as well in terms of our enjoyment factor and our connectivity with that shift into Pisces. Okay, and this is the same time around Saturday that Mercury will be closer to Taurus. And so Taurus definitely is the grounding energies. And in this case, our minds are going into more of the stable, grounded side of things. So good to take our time with learning about things. Whereas earlier on Monday, it was much more erratic or changing a lot with those mental or communicative or routine things. Now it's definitely more grounded. And so anything that is about taking things steadily, one step at a time, with our routines, with whatever we're putting our mental energy into, with how we're communicating, all this is great with Mercury shifting into Taurus for these coming weeks. And this is adding to the energy on Sunday when Mercury squares up to grounded Saturn. So Saturn, ruling Capricorn, the fellow Earth sign to Taurus, is about seeing the long road. And so there might be maybe a bit of limitations, maybe some very realistic viewings of life, which is collectively usually the case with this square. But of course, it's important not to see things too realistically to where they become dense or heavy or restrictive, but to channel it and to think long term, to challenge ourselves to think long term, to see the bigger picture. What takes time, patience, and perseverance are definitely things worth building towards. So good to take that action there with that square. This will be the action-oriented phase of the lunar cycle, well, the second one. This is now the third quarter moon, which again is great for implementing those shifts from the week ago, the last Friday full moon. But challenging ourselves to do that mentally here in this case is fantastic. And there's a little bit of support with this. Mercury will be sextiling Neptune at the same time. It's nothing major, but a bit of a watery mind. So maybe some slightly available intuition, creativity, imagination, and again, a little bit more of that receptivity probably in our communications or everyday dealings with both Venus and Pisces and Mercury sextile Neptune on Sunday. All right, everyone. So that is the week in a nutshell. Very straightforward, I would say, implementing the full moon from last Friday. We have a bit of this deeper energy to work with Monday, a bit of an innovative mind to work with on Monday as well. And some of that Libra balance is fantastic. Still a bit of that deeper energy Tuesday, Wednesday to attune to, connect with, then a bit of that free-spirited energy coming out of that for Sagittarius on Thursday and Friday. And then as we get into the weekend here, we start to get those sign changes. We got this shift into viewing life through a more initiating lens, thinking about things in a more grounded way, and enjoying more of the etheric energies there of Pisces. And one thing I did not mention here about the weekend, adding to the grounding earthy energy, is that the moon will be here in Capricorn, both Saturday and Sunday, adding to that grounding energy and what likely is a good weekend for thinking long term, having a bit of that patience and perseverance. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube. So do check that out and sign up if you haven't yet. But have a great week, everyone. Thank you again, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.